Yeah, I mean, you explain this better than anybody, Peter. You always do it. I just love listening to you when you explain it. You famously were on Joe Rogan's show, and he was complaining that the people in China were being exploited working in the iPhone factories, and you basically laid out the same argument, and it was fascinating to watch because you said, well, they're not being forced to work there, and their option might be working on a farm, and if they're working there, clearly they want to be there, and clearly that's the best option, and it was an epic moment. It was a very Schiff moment.
Yeah, and I always talk to liberals because they're very generous with other people's money. They always want to say that this business should pay workers more. So okay, well, how many people are you employing? You pay them more. If you think these people should be paid more, then you hire them. So well, I don't have a business. Well, go start one. I mean, you can't criticize the jobs that other people are creating when you yourself haven't created any. It's so easy, to say that this other guy is doing a bad job when you're doing nothing yourself. And of course, when I talk to liberals about it, I'll often talk to them about, when they hire people, because even if you don't have an employee yourself, right? When you go and get your hair cut, you're basically hiring a barber, right? Someone's going to cut your hair, right? Back when we used to do that before COVID, right? Or if your sink is backed up, you hire a plumber, right? You call up you look online and you find somebody that's going to come fix your sink. You're employing the plumber to do a particular job. Or if your car breaks down and you need repairs, you're hiring a mechanic. Even when you go to a store, right? You are effectively employing somebody to work on your car. And so I'll say to somebody, when you do that, let's say your sink is backed up and you need a plumber. Do you just call one plumber and just pay whatever they say? Or do you make maybe 3 or 4 calls and get a few bids? And then when you get 3 or 4 bids, do you go with the most expensive guy or would you go with the cheapest, right? I mean, most people shop around, they make a few calls, they comparison shop, and they hire the cheaper service, which is what employers are doing. They're doing the same thing when they hire people. Why should they be any different? Well, why should they overpay for their labor? If it's okay for consumers to shop around for the cheapest mechanic, why can't the gas station, when they're employing the mechanics, try to hire them as low as they can? Because they know the ultimate customer is going to do the same thing. They're going to price shop the services with all the other gas stations, and so everybody is trying to get a good deal. That's all. And of course, if you look at it from the point of view of the worker's on the opposite side. The worker wants to sell his services for the highest possible price. So if I'm a mechanic, right, and I want to go work at a station, I might interview with 5 or 10 different stations, and I'm going to say, okay, what are you going to pay me? What are you going to pay me, right? What are the deal, right? I'm going to take the most lucrative job offer I can get. Right, it might be a combination of wages and benefits and time off, depending on what I value. But I'm going to shop around and I'm going to sell my services to the highest bidder. So everybody is working in a free market, getting the best deal they can find. What these liberals want to do is they don't want a free market. They want the government to come in and force deals on people that are not free. Right? They want to use the coercive power of government. What's fair about that? To try to force contracts on people that they might otherwise not voluntarily enter into.